Hello, dear Patreons and YouTube followers and whoever is watching this. Welcome to my Q&A here from lovely Oldenburg, where I just finished playing the Dvorak Cello Concerto this morning. Well, I had lunch since then. But this morning at 11:15 I got to play our favorite concerto. I think it's everybody's cellist's favorite concerto. And it's probably non-Germans don't know the city of Oldenburg. It's a small town not too far from Bremen. It's really lovely. And they have a wonderful little theater, an opera house. I don't know, 19th century something. Absolutely adorable, round and nice acoustic actually. I think they tweaked the acoustic a little bit by using microphones and I couldn't see a microphone, but one of my oldest friends who plays in the orchestra, Hanno, with whom I shared a room during my studies in Cincinnati in 1988. He's since 30 years principal violinist at the second violin at the orchestra here, and I came to them 32 years ago for the first time, and it was his trial year. So it's fun to be back. And actually they played the Dvorak this morning really beautiful. I was very impressed. It was one of my better performances. I mean, as a whole, I don't know how I played. I did tape the rehearsal yesterday, but I had to sign something that I would not share it with anybody because, I don't know, the personal rights of the orchestras would be damaged if I posted even 90 seconds anywhere. So I have it in my private archive as a nice memory to play with my old friend. And if anybody has seen other of my videos, this is not my cello. I normally play on a 300 some year old Matteo Goffriller, which is a beautiful instrument, very dark and very big. And since I'm not getting any younger, and since there is a nice person who is interested in investing in a cello and let me play on it, I'm looking for a cello which might sound even nicer than my Goffriller. And this here is a lovely Joseph Guarnerius Filius Andreae, which actually sounds nice, I think. I mean, check out some of the videos. You can see, I just posted some Symphonie Concertante by Prokofiev from last week from Belfast, and I think it has quite some quality. It's brighter than my Goffriller. It projects a little bit better. I'm not so sure about the bass, but that is exceptional with my Goffriller, so it's tough to match that. But a few days ago I played the Bredin Concerto in Berlin, which you can watch if you want. Oh, no, I haven't posted it yet on Patreon. I will this afternoon, I think, or tomorrow. The dress rehearsal in the Berlin Philharmonic Hall, I did tape. I played with the DSO, the Deutsche Symphonieorchester, the West Berlin Radio, the former RIAS, and the composer was in the audience, and he had heard me play it at least 8-9 times, always on my Goffriller, and he said he never heard me better and clearer, and he thought this could be the real deal. So we'll see. I have another Dvorak tomorrow. Then what do I play next afterwards? Oh, I go to Liège to play Shostakovich No. 1 and a modern piece, a new piece by Montalbetti. It's just written. I think Tanya Tetzlaff world premiered it last month, and I will get to play the second time. It's a smallish piece. I'm just about to finish memorizing it. The last 3 pages are some broken arpeggios going upwards. Not very fast, but each arpeggio has a different order and different notes, so I have a hard time memorizing it. When I'm done here, I'll put another hour in for 1 minute of arpeggios going upwards. I need to find some way. My brain is not getting any quicker. So I play that. Then I play then I play some chamber music at the Leishalle in Hamburg. It's a gala for Rhapsody in School, which my beloved and late friend Lars Vogt founded 20 or so years ago. It's an organization which brings us freelance performers, or even even non-freelance, to schools. It's an outreach program for people who like to go to schools, and I think it's great. It's wonderful. I've always done that, and I love doing it. And I learned a lot actually by playing for kids in schools. So that we have a gala to raise some money. That's on October 17 in Hamburg. I'm playing with Sabine Meyer and Markus Becker, the Beethoven. I think just one movement from the... This one. I always forgot what it's called. Has some title. And then I get to play the Schubert B flat major, which obviously I haven't practiced yet. I should know it by heart, because that piece ran all the journey from Berlin to Salzburg in my childhood. When we went for Easter to the Easter Festspiele with my father in the car, we drove to Salzburg, and this was one of my favorite tapes to be played. I think we had the recording with Casals and Cortot, whatever, who was playing. So I love that piece, and I get to play it with Christian Tetzlaff. And I think the pianist, I not only know her name, Kivili Durkin, but it's going to be fun. And after that, actually I have Dvorak coming up in Paris, and Don Quixote in Osnabrück, and Dutilleux in Cologne, and Elgar in Amsterdam. And after that, I think I should know if I want this cello or not. Or even before. I already see some questions here. Hi Marlene. I can put this, how did it work again? Like this. Oh yes. Thanks for watching. So it's not a question, it's just a comment. Thank you very much, that's very kind. But please ask something, because I have only one single question prepared. And then this would be very quickly over. So thanks for the nice comment though. Hi Naiwi, and nice one. Hi Jungwon, can you show me that arpeggio a little bit? No, I almost got it yesterday, but it's like no. It's something like this all the not all the time. It always evolves, always one step higher. I mean, the last arpeggio is something like, yeah, that's that. The very last one is like, and then something like this. It's 3 pages and different. The meter changes all the time, and the rhythm, and sometimes it's then the order of the first ones is different. So I need some good calm thinking. Somehow if I have too much in my mind, I cannot focus on this, and I need just like 2 hours, and then it should be it. And then if you ever want to memorize something, if you manage to do it in your head slowly and even in tempo, then it's quite safe, because that's the hardest. As doing it in your head excludes the muscle memory. And the muscle memory is something not really to be trusted on entirely. If you know a piece and you think you know it, and then you get nervous, you forget the muscle memory somehow goes away. Or suddenly you have these blackouts. So the best is if you have muscle memory, obviously, if you know how you want it to sound, and if you can somehow see it. I don't have photographic memory, but just that you imagine, that you somehow have, you memorize it, so you also have some visual. And those 3 parameters they're not idiot-proof, not bulletproof, but they help to get through something It's always the scariest thing is the first rehearsal, because there I'm nervous and I don't want to steal anybody's time. And I know people in the orchestra, if I get lost, they think, oh, why doesn't he put the music? And I answer for all of you who have the same thought. I don't put the music because I play better without. Some people play better with music. I just really play better without. Partly because I just practice more. If I would allow myself to put the music, I would have stopped practicing 5 hours ago, the piece. I think I practiced it now 10 hours altogether. And it's not so difficult. It's almost sight readable. It's not a technically difficult piece. But if I force myself to memorize it, I slowly get deeper and deeper into the piece, and I start to understand things in order to help me to memorize it. So maybe I understand something which is not even in the piece, I don't know. And you can ask Eric Montalbetti after the performance. But I make it more my own, because I'm not just doing this reading thing. I have to make it my own to be able to play it. So that's why I go through the hassle and the stress of the first rehearsal. Once this is done, it's not so bad anymore. I mean, still something can happen in the concert, but the benefits of being in charge of what I'm playing is so much higher than having 1 or 2 little blackouts. So yeah, I did the showing. And Jungwon prefers the Guarneri over the Gofrilla. Well, actually with the microphones one cannot really tell. It's always... That's why I was happy to play the Dean Concerto last week in Berlin, as I had played it 5 years ago with the Berlin Phil on my Gofrilla in the same hall. So the composer was there both times, and he could really tell that this cello has and brings in another quality. So he sat more or less at the same place, and he said he heard much more. All that might have to do with the fact that we had like 3 times more rehearsals and that the orchestra played more see-through. You never know. It's hard to judge an instrument. It definitely is easier to play because it's not as big. Mine, I have to think big for everything in my cello, and this here is a bit more comfortable. Like, I don't know if I can play this here, but bad. So that wasn't perfect, but this... Oh yeah, I'm doing the trilling on the upper octave so that one can hear anything. I think Dvorak writes in the lower octave, but this is practically impossible to make it heard. So I'm doing this on the upper octave, but on my cello, this is not possible. Or I have to go almost like... And in high speed, it's quite difficult to do that. So in this cello, I can do it. It's almost a centimeter or so shorter, or even 2 centimeters. I don't know, I have to measure. But thanks for your input, Jungwon. I will keep it in mind. Yes, thank you, Bruno. Very kind. It does sound much brighter than the Gofrilla. And for a lot of pieces, that's helpful to have a bit more brightness. I mean, it sounds less cello. In the upper register, it sounds like a violin, but it's not the worst thing to say about a cello. You have problems with vibrato, how you can start it. Well, that's a big subject. My sister, I have never taught beginning students, or not really being in charge. Through Corona and Patreon, I did teach some people, but I'm not really a specialist. But my sister deals with a lot of beginners, and she said she teaches them first doing kind of... And then find the center. So she comes from this move, any finger. then you get the center, but still have this kind of this rubby move. Any finger, even the thumb. But it's harder here. Later, I think it's nice to also vibrate a little bit here with this joint, a bit like violinists do, because that's a typical cello vibrato. I prefer the subtlety of a violin vibrato. As you know, the violins, they vibrate like this, and in this they work a lot, or mainly with this joint here. And when I play a cantilena or something, I almost move my hand sideways so that I vibrate more. I also find it easier to have a continuous vibrato. One of my daily routines, which you can find on Patreon and I think even on YouTube, there's a a conclusion of all of them. And the very last daily routine is I learned from my wife, who's a violinist. Very slowly. I mean, that's the more advanced version. The easier version would be all semi-steps. You get the message. You get the idea. Just that you don't stop the vibrato. That it's not. But it swings continuously. So that's as much as I can say about vibrato on a short notice. But one main condition to be able to vibrate well would be to not block your left hand with a thumb. The idea of pushing down the string with the hand like this and not doing this. If you do that, your hand tends to be much tighter and it's harder to vibrate. If the thumb is not locked in, but rather gently touching the arm without choking the neck, it is easier to vibrate and it's easier to play in general. But that's a whole other subject. That's a tough step to take, actually. If you learned it like this, to unlearn and get easy. I mean, my 4th daily routine is what I call is by Kosman, and I do that every day, just to teach myself. I don't have to teach myself. To remind myself, to remind my left hand to do this and not this. So to press the string down by the weight of the arm and then and still be able to go quick. That's the whole reason for this 4th daily routine, which I recommend to everybody. I mean, yeah. I'm bad with Liutauras from a Baltic country. I won't say the country because I stink with those beautiful countries up there. I've been where have I been? Tallinn. And I cannot remember. I'm such an ignorant. Anyway, beautiful Tallinn, by the way. Thank you very much. That's very sweet. Which Larsen strings are on this cello? Oh, I remember the guy who gave me the cello 3 weeks ago in London. Oh, my patron Robert Brewer-Young, wonderful cello maker, and he put this cello in very good playing conditions. I think it's the normal Magna chord, but the D string is cantabile or something, he said. But the other ones are all the normal Magna chord. It has very strong wolves. And I played as encore today my favorite prelude for Sixth Suite with all the. Oh, now it's not so bad. Strange. I suffered. Yes, so not much more to these strings. Hello, Alfonso. Have I ever tried to memorize a piece and struggled so much that you have to play with the score in concert? Thanks. Glad you like my little quizzes. I try to keep them up. I'm really lazy with that, but I've been told I should do that, so I do it. I'm a very how to say I remember we had something in school. They call them the able to learn pigs. Lernfähiges Schweinchen. So I'm a lernfähiges Schweinchen. I'm a pig which is willing to learn. And I'm learning in my old age how to work the Instagram. What was the question? Oh yeah, sorry. I tried to memorize a piece. No. I don't let that be an option. But there will be the point probably. I mean, I have played in the last 10 years one concerto I have not played by heart, but I didn't even try. I didn't respect the piece, but I had agreed to play it, so I actually counted the hours. I said I'm investing 5 hours, not more. I didn't give more value to that piece. So I practiced 5 hours, and after that I faked my way through the piece. I won't say who it was, but I didn't try to memorize it. That was not my goal. And it's the last time I agreed to play something like that. But on the other hand, if I commission a piece and I receive it and I have to play it, would I then memorize it? I think I would, yeah. Because finally you can memorize anything. You just have to put the hours in and the concentration, and you should not suffer dementia, which I hope I can avoid for a couple of more years. Have I ever seen who has a bigger left hand than mine? I think most people have. I'm not tall. I'm 5'9", so my hand is normal. It's quite flexible. It's funny actually. On the piano, here I can with the right hand I can play a 10th, and with my left hand I can play 11th. Like I can, because the stretch is much. I'm more subtle here, so it's not that the hand is even a little bit bigger. The fingers are a little longer. Can you see? I don't know. Yeah, or the others, whatever. But I have seen people with bigger hands. That's for sure. Mine are normal size. Well, thanks for joining, Xingwu. Catch me next time again. I'll be here for another half hour probably. Depending on the questions, ask some questions. Let's see. Do I have my own logics or rules for the expression of dynamics? Well, I try to follow what the composer says, but finally, and that's also a point of playing things by heart, that then I don't remember so much every single little dynamic written, but I can follow more the spontaneous idea of the concert, how it's going, and ideas coming to mind. So I try to have my own expression in it and not only play what the composer wrote. Especially, I mean, in Bach's music where there's no dynamic, or even Mozart writes very little. Haydn as well. I mean, all those. Well, Beethoven is more precise, but still, you don't play. If it says piano for 40 bars, you're not gonna play piano for 40 bars. You have to come up with your own line, and this could be different from one concert to the other, from one practice session to the other. Possibly, you would explore as many different versions in practice, and then during the concert you use your different ideas you had practiced, or you even come up with something completely new. As I said before, the score, the older I get, the lesser I see the score as a Bible, but as a very strong suggestion. So it's a suggestion of the composer to do what he wrote, but also we have the duty to give our own ideas, and they should be our own, not listen to a recording and see what player ABC did, or DEF, or XYZ, but listen into your own sound world and look at the music and see what it tells you and what you could find there in your own sound world and your own fantasy. Because then you're an artist. If you just copy somebody else's ideas, then you're a copycat. Hello Max, thanks for doing. Yes, you're very welcome. Oh, I'm playing Dvorak in Perth. How nice! I love Perth. Well, please come and say hi. I hope I have some time to go to Market River. Last time I spent at the vineyard Pirot. Was it called Pirot Lunaire? No, I think just Pirot. It's this lovely vineyard. It's one of the guy who owns it is one of the original 3 doctors who invented wine or introduced wine in Western Australia. Incredible. He's married to a lovely lady, and I stayed there for a few days last time I was there. I have the best memories of Perth. And I went to Rottnest Island, and yeah, it's wonderful. Great place. Can't wait to come back. Oops, here comes something else. Yes, sure. Ask me, shoot away, whatever you like to ask. And the full performance of the Prokofiev is on Patreon. So just sign up there. It's only €3, and then you can listen to what we did. It was actually not a bad performance, I think. Oh, was he? Johannes Raab, who was your student, has big hand, super tall. I don't know Johannes Raab. Or maybe from the face, but he cannot be my student because I never had students except patrons. So, but I don't think he was a patron. He said how much. Oh, that's very nice. Oh no, I'm not. Definitely not a genius. Geniuses, I don't think they exist in the performer world. You have better and worse musicians. Genius are Bach and Beethoven and Brahms, and well, I know some really, really smart people. Like I heard the other day, young pianist Kit Armstrong, who's so smart and it's an unbelievable. So that it's this kind of brain power where I cannot understand. He has photographic memory. He just looks at something and it comes across as genius. But still, is he like a genius like Bach? No, he's just super talented and very smart and very gifted. I'm always... I'm very stingy with the word genius. So I'm definitely not a genius. But I'm not a bad performer. I'm one of many good performers. Thank you very much, though. And give my best to Johannes. But no, did he really say he was my student? Maybe we were students together somewhere. Well, anyway. Thanks. I answered that in the second one. Just haven't drunk enough water. The vibrato in your pinky. Well, that's my daily routine number, whatever, 10 or so. The one before the last one, I play the swan with each finger. And why is there more light over there than here? That's not so smart, is it? So now it's even darker? No. Wait, I can do this here. I play the swan with each finger, including the pinky. So that makes the pinky stronger. If you practice the swan slowly, sorry. The whole thing. And don't even stop here. Even I know there's a rest, but continue vibrating. And keep the vibrato small and fast. So don't go. That's comfortable. No, just really have it controlled with good energy. It's very tiring. I mean, when I go on holidays, or if I don't touch the cello for 2-3 weeks, which I love to do once in a while, I come back to my daily routines. This is painful, but now I'm in good shape, so I can do this now without too much pain. I know it's very boring, but I do read the paper while doing these things, so it's not so bad. That's how I can be a bit better informed about things. Hello, Miko. My fingering in the 6th Bach suite at the double string E minor passage is fascinating. You definitely can stretch your 11. Yeah, I didn't work today because I came from here. And I went far too deep because I didn't think, and the muscle memory of my gofrilla would have been there, but you know, this cello is not so difficult actually, but I moved too far. Again, bad. Yeah, this whole thing, yeah, this is kind of acrobatic, but the idea is that okay, I should have tuned. I played the encore like that. That's embarrassing. Oh, no wonder it was out of tune. I hate tuning. Sorry. So the idea is that the 3rd finger is the open string, because actually, as you know, this piece is written for a 5-string instrument with an E string on top. So it would be but we are on 1/5 higher, so it's this passage. And that's one of the reasons I'm looking for a smaller instrument, because that is so much easier here. On my gofrilla is like, no fun. But challenge is sometimes good, and I'm not complaining. I'm very lucky to have such a beautiful instrument, I know. Okay, now comes the question of Max for the 3rd movement. In the entrance of the 3rd movement, it feels grand and proud. Does it? Grand and proud. Well, people play it grand. It should definitely be in 3, so I wouldn't think the vibrato is not the big deal. The thing is the tempo. It's like 1. a simple melody. You don't have... It's variations, and it should have the same, not too slow pulse. Is it andante or something? I forgot what it says, but it's not slow, and it's in 3, not in 6. And the vibrato, just nothing. Rather like that's why I wouldn't think grand and proud. There is a wham and proud. Yeah, proud is not a bad thing, but grand. The first chord is grand, but then it's a funny movement actually. It's a joke. The whole thing is he's making fun. He's having fun. It's sarcastic fun, real fun, then some emotional fun. But don't overdo it. And don't think you have to match the orchestra chord. And the orchestra chord shouldn't be too long. So really just like, wham, party. This is a quarter note, so it shouldn't be long. So don't focus. I would focus more on the long line than on the vibrato. The vibrato, not too big. Not ultra fast, not too slow, not too not boring, not like an old man. I mean, I guess you're not an old man, and don't play like an old man. I'm not saying that you are playing like an old man, I just say don't. You're very welcome. Can you give some advice playing at the tip of the bow? I can't even do your daily piety exercise because of the pain of the thumb. Oh no, I'm sorry. Well, that was my would have been my advice to do at the tip. The piety exercise. So if you cannot do it because you have pain at the thumb, well, I used to have pain. Let's see, what did I do with the pain? Just, I think, work through the pain. Or maybe, well, that's the stupid thing with the online thing. Now, if you would be here, I would see you're doing something. Maybe you're doing something wrong, but I cannot say you're doing something wrong, because, well, when I do a 2-3 week pause and then I start again, is there pain? No, it's not real pain. You have to find a position of your thumb where the pain. I mean, here's my thumb. So there is some. No, that's not good. We had that game before. He doesn't focus on my thing. He wants my face. So now when I'm gone, then... Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, here. I go out of the picture, then he's fine, or no? Still not? What a stupid camera. You're supposed to focus on the thumb, camera. No. That is dumb. Sorry. But there is stress on the thumb. You can see there's a little hole. And the piety number 1 is teaching. If I moved once, no, I can't move. This chair is inflexible. And the thumb plays a big role. That's why it's interesting that you're asking. There has to be certain flexibility. That's why I also advise these bow exercises, which you can see in the bow video I posted 2 years ago or so. Especially this year, where you can see how active the thumb is in rolling the bow. So you have a good sensation feeling your bow. It should not feel like a enemy. Sounds so stupid. The bow is your friend, or not more like a friend. It's a prolongation of your arm. So this joint here is crucial, and the thumb actually the most crucial, as a lot of stress is being transferred via the thumb if you want to apply strength there. And you can do this, but actually, interesting. Because that hurt now. Now I feel there's pain in the thumb. If I just do this, I need more strength. But the thumb there's less pressure on the thumb. And I do this, I feel how it can hurt. But here, there's more this. And this is, you need muscle for that. But it's not abuse on your thumb. Maybe when you start doing this, you're abusing your thumb and then it hurts. And the whole Piatti exercise is to teach exactly that. To apply pressure on the tip without abusing and without using your elbow. Hi Eric. Didn't I just do that? You talk the importance of engaging the fingers and wrist in bowing. When I see you play, it almost looks invisible. Oh no, I didn't. It's a different question. The importance of engaging fingers and wrist. Well, actually, I'm very happy that you say it looks invisible, because it should not only be invisible, it should not be there. I mean, watch that bow video I did. I think it's not a bad... I summed it up quite well. All these little tricks, they are nothing but tricks. To make it really... If we want to make a pianissimo bow change inaudible, then the fingers come into play to make it cover up. It's a cover up. The default version of a bow change should be just like this. Nothing. The wrist should be completely... I cannot see. How can I move this? Oh yeah, I can move. Yeah. The wrist should not do much. Especially for bow changes, string changes, and also bow changes. Here, if we do that, we lose the contact to the string. So the less movement there is, I mean, I'm not saying I don't have any, but the idea is that the bow just goes back and forth like this. And we have to make it work somehow so that it's not... Obviously we don't want that. I mean, sometimes we want. I don't know, I cannot think of any... So this there, the wrist also completely... As inflexible is such a bad word. I think in this video I'm comparing it with a very strong rubber. So it shouldn't be like... But like... So really with a lot of resistance. It is not completely fixated, but it shouldn't be this kind of thing. And that's, sorry, long answer for a short question. That's why it looks invisible. I try not to move it. Especially, or if you do... In Haydnism... Nothing like that. And if you have sautillé, it looks as if I'm doing something, but actually I don't. The slow version is still without the wrist. Once it gets fast, it looks as if I'm shaking something, but I'm not. At least not on purpose. Yes, I did enjoy Perth a lot. Thanks. Um, in the quavers of the vivace after, what articulation would you use? What are quavers again? The vivace after, is that the... This, not too short. I mean, this is a typical spiccato. It's not... There my very first daily routine comes in handy, the banana bow. And you see, I'm fooling around with the length of the notes. They don't always have to be same. Just because the composer writes an eighth note, I think quavers. Oh God, I'm so bad with these English expressions. Eighth note with a dot doesn't mean tat 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 tat. It could be tat 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 tat. It should not be because he has the dots, but it doesn't have to be super short either. Anything in between. Yes, I agree. Okay, agree with the talent thing in cello playing. Well, I wouldn't be interested in listening to a talented cellist because I don't think cello is the most interesting instrument. Actually, no instrument is interesting. I love music, so I'm more interested in listening to a talented musician. A talented cellist is somebody who plays the cello well. I mean, who has good sound, good intonation. That's a talented cellist. A talented musician or a good musician or a great musician, he or she touches me. Yesterday I heard a wonderful musician, young, not that young, I mean, in her probably mid-late 30s, Anbet Solvang. She's a mezzo-soprano, and she moved me to tears. I really had to bite my... No, I didn't bite my tongue. What did I do? I really had to focus not to break completely open. It was so touching and moving, and it was the most sincere, and she had a beautiful voice, but everything, her phrasing, even her demeanor on stage, it was humble and incredibly expressive. And the saddest thing of the evening was that it was half empty. It was a small hall here in Oldenburg, and I thought if her name was Anna Netrebko, the thing would be the big hall sold out, and this woman is twice the musician Netrebko ever was, but well, that's my personal taste, I'm sorry. But I mean, just the art of lead singing is so difficult and so beautiful, and I have no idea why it's not more popular, because I would, if I have the choice, I'd 10 times go to a song recital than to a cello recital. 100 times. And 1,000 times to a piano recital. Sorry, pianists. I love piano and cello recital, but singing recital is a different world. I mean, it's the voice, it's the text, it's the music is beautiful. I mean, she sang some songs by Edvard Grieg and Mahler and Schönberg and Strauss. No, not Mahler. Strauss and then some Italian guy I had never heard of. Very beautiful. The last, her encore was Am Morgen, Der Morgen, Morning by Strauss, Richard Strauss. And that was so very subtle and nothing obvious she did. It was all beautifully delivered and simple and so straight to the heart. Well, that was a long answer. Oh, at figure 4, when the flute, would you say this is a thick oozing with emotion or light? Oh God, I don't know what figure 4 is. The line with the flute? In which movement? The last movement, line with the flute, line with the flute. I don't know, I haven't seen the music in many, many years. Well, I don't think there's ever thick and oozing. But it's not the... That is rather ethereal, isn't it? And or what else do we have? There's nothing else. Oh, do you mean the... No. I don't remember, sorry. Okay, and then after the picazzo cadenza and before the run to the top C, I'm not sure how to create variation and make the 4 repeated C. Well, there's nothing interesting about it, is it? It's just, it's difficult to make that sound. You're absolutely right. It's a bitch. That's actually the hardest one. The up there is not so hard, but this... So practice it slowly. And legato. And with the elbow always digging into the C string there. And no fingerboard. You have to find a compromise. It won't sound clean. If it sounds clean, you have to go here. And that, here in this room, it's fine. But in a hall, you sound like a piece of fly shit. So you need a bit more... or mosquito shit, or something really very small shit you'll sound. You need the something more crunchy. That's about the pinky vibrato. Well, don't use your third finger. If you want to train your fourth finger, the fourth finger has to... You don't want... No, it has to be... You don't always want to have to put the fourth fingers there. Although... You don't have the time to add your third finger. So train your fourth finger to be able to do that on its own. And the swan is the best best exercise I know. There might be much better ones, but I don't know. Oh, you mean the chord thing? Again, not too slow. I think it's poco meno mosso or something. And yes, drunk is a good idea. Well, just go with the flow and play around with the length. If you're... I don't think we have any dots, do we? Think it as a melody and then fool around with it. Such a cool place. But I often have memory problems there. I think in the concert in Belfast I screwed that up somehow. I mean, I faked my way through. I suddenly lost my train of thoughts, and I've played the piece so much over the last 30 years, but still don't know why. Maybe I should play it through my mind. I've never done that actually. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't. There's too much muscle memory, and then I start doubting, and then I just try to play the melody, and yeah, it was a bit embarrassing in the concert, I think. Oops, I forgot about that. I'm very good in forgetting bad things. The funniest piece, I don't know. And the most beautiful one, in your opinion? It depends on my mood. I mean, now I just played Dvorak. That's a great piece to play. And Prokofiev is quite funny actually. That's really. But it's not really funny. It's funny in a dark, sarcastic sense, I guess. But no, right now I cannot think of any funny music. I'm not in the most funny mood. Sorry. But I'll give it some thinking. Oh, you have more questions. After the bassoon solo into the entry at figure 7, I don't know the figures. Could you explain how you phrase this section? Also, what articulation you use? Oh, no idea. Bassoon. No, maybe that was just what I did. Maybe you meant something else with the drunk part. Well, the phrasing, sing it and come up with your own phrasing. I'm not stuck with one phrasing. I probably do it like this or like this. I'm not really convinced that I know how it's supposed to go. Let's see. Figure 24. Before during the Celeste solo, I feel it's very tender and heart-wrenching. How can I make it sound more special and profound? I don't know if it's heart-wrenching. It is very tender. So tender and heart-wrenching is really not the same, is it? Just good contact to the string, then. So with a good contact in the string, the vibrato not too big, and those accents more. This no attack, and also not too much. It's more like with a bit more depth. And just very good proximity to the bridge, I guess. Okay, last question. How do you create the atmosphere mood while clearly showing the rhythmic stay with the orchestra without accenting every bar? I don't know what that is. The section after this, the semiquavers at figures 26. Atmosphere mood. No idea. Is it the... or the... Well, you don't have to do anything for the atmosphere. Just play loud and play rhythmical, and don't accent every bar exactly. But the atmosphere is there anyway. You don't have to do much showing atmosphere. You just play it well, play it well, and keep at it. And feel free to visit the Patreon site. The recording is there. It's not. It went quite well. Hi Matt, I'm trying the Guarneri because somebody wants to invest in the cello and let me play on it, and I know there are better instruments out there than my Gofrilla. The Gofrilla is not the best Gofrilla in the world. I have to work quite hard on it, and it has its limit. I mean, the glass ceiling, it's reached, and it's not breakable, the glass ceiling there, and this has more shine to it. So if it's possible and if it's a good investment, I might be playing on it later on, or switch back and forth. I mean, most people have two instruments. I'm one of the few professional musicians who have only one single instrument. Well, if I had, that wouldn't be mine anyway. I cannot afford that. Thank you very much, Max. Thanks for the good questions. She was exactly what I do. I think I was cool. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That high elbow posture that you showed was exactly what I do on party. So yeah, don't do the high elbow. I don't know what pronating is. Yeah, I thought pronating is this. So I don't believe in the pronating thing. But, well, I have to wrap it up because I have to teach when I'm just going quickly. Um, uh, mm-hmm. That's very interesting. In orchestra, musicians who are blind, they memorize all the symphonies. That's amazing. Fantastic. No, I never heard of them. Yes, they need determination. You're absolutely right. Must be very moving. I mean, for people to overcome such a big impediment to make music together. I mean, if they just improvised everybody on their own, that would be special as well. But to play orchestra music together and they memorize their parts, I find that really amazing. Um, yes, I make a lot of mistakes on stage. Big ones, small ones. I'm not afraid of mistakes. I mean, when I practice to be as perfect as I can be. But when I play, I don't try to play as perfect as I can be. I try to play as true to my feelings and as spontaneous as I can be, while keeping some level of perfection up, obviously, that is demanded. But in work, yes, perfection not a priority, but very important. But then, I mean, in the daily practicing, it's getting dark here. Wow. Well, it's evening, I guess. And that doesn't work. Yeah, it works. But when you perform, you have to let go. If to play perfect is still your number one priority, then you don't dare to take any risks, neither musically nor sound-wise. And especially as a cellist, we need to play at the edge. I mean, Rostropovich wasn't perfect, but he took us, and that's what is needed from a performer. Never mind what level you are, if you're an amateur or professional, you need to take your audience with you and tell them something they hadn't heard before. I have to answer one question from one of my patrons. I'm sorry, I completely forgot. Soraya asked an excellent question. Actually, it's a super long question. I've tried to make. She was asking with CD recordings how my take is and how much I participate in the process. And that's actually a very good question, because when we record, we play and then we play again and again and again, and at the end of the day, the sound engineer takes what he wants, and sometimes we're not happy with that. I know some people, they go into the editing sessions with the sound engineer, which I couldn't bother to do. It's too much work. I try to play already in the session every take as if it's my last take, and I give it all. And you're asking later in in the question about if it's ugly. I mean, yeah, exactly. When recording, we shouldn't worry about the perfection. We should really go for it, and then listen to it and talk to while you listen. Tell the engineer, here, I didn't like that. Or this I want like that. Please leave it. This ugliness or this harshness or this roughness I want. So you can already in the recording process show the producer what way you want to go, so that he doesn't clean it all up, make it nice and fluffy, and you actually don't want nice and fluffy, depending on the piece. But later in the process, I don't want to be involved. And then you get the first edit, and then you can still say, oh, actually, is there not a better version? I didn't like that. I think I played it more interesting or softer or louder or rougher or something. Do that then. But in between, I wouldn't get involved. Then you're asking to listen to yourself. Yes, you think it's exaggerated to listen to yourself too much. I agree, one shouldn't record oneself too much, but once in a while, yes, it's not bad. You can learn something. Maybe, or maybe make sure that it's in a nice enough room, because in a bedroom it just sounds horrible, and then you hear yourself horribly. And what for? That's just like self-torture. Just make it in a room which has some kind of acoustic, and then put the microphone not too close, like 3-4 meters away, or even 7 meters, depending on how big the acoustic is. And then treat it like a concert, then play and listen. And what you hear there, that's probably pretty much what's happening. And then take it or leave it. But you say we know what we want. Yes, we know what we want, but sometimes what comes out is not what actually we want. That is indeed quite a tricky thing. That's why I love playing with the earplugs, because I think I know then a little bit better how it sounds a little bit farther away. And I must admit, I haven't been unpleasantly surprised too much lately. Oh, not lately, in the last few years. I know when I screw something up, that's exactly what I did. Sometimes it's even less screwy-uppy than I thought it was. Yeah. Okay, I probably should run now because my patron is waiting. Thank you for watching. Lovely seeing you all here, and I hope I can do that soon again. Oh, there comes one last. For anybody who's interested, the Al-Nur Wal Al-Mal. Yeah, everybody check it out. That sounds like a very fascinating orchestra. They've played here in Germany. Best wishes. Have a lovely Sunday evening, and see you next time. Bye.